The sound of the porcelain tea set shattering against the granite conference table echoed like a gunshot through the penthouse office of KY Corp. Sarah Stephan froze, her heart hammering against her ribs as scalding tea splashed onto the polished dress shoes of the most dangerous man in the room. But it wasn't Kim Young, her cruel employer, who she had spilled it on. It was the guest, the man everyone in Seoul whispered about in terrified tones. Geum Ku Jun, the CEO of Golden Era Holdings, a man who had swallowed 3 competitor companies in the last month alone just because they looked at him wrong. The boardroom went deathly silent. Kim Young's face turned a violent shade of purple. "You useless idiot," Kim Young roared, raising his hand to strike her. "Do you know how much that suit costs? You're going to pay for this with the next 10 years of your salary." Sarah flinched, closing her eyes and bracing for the impact. But the blow never came. A hand, large and calloused, had caught Kim Young's wrist in midair. Sarah opened her eyes to see Geum Ku Jun standing there. He wasn't looking at Kim Young. He wasn't looking at the stained suit worth millions. He was looking at her. Specifically, his dark, intense gaze was locked on the small, faded burn scar on the back of her trembling hand, a scar shaped like a starburst, a scar she had gotten 15 years ago, pulling a boy out of a burning building in a foster home in London. The air in the room seemed to vanish. Ku Jun's grip on Kim Young's tightened until bones creaked. "Don't," Ku Jun said. His voice was low, vibrating with a lethal calmness that was far scarier than Kim Young's shouting. "Don't you ever raise a hand to her again." Kim Young sputtered, trying to yank his arm back. "Mr. Jun, she's just the help. She ruined your—" "Sarah?" Ku Jun whispered, ignoring the other billionaire entirely. "Sarah," gasped, the tray slipping from her other hand. No one in Korea called her by her first name. To them, they were just the foreigner or the maid. "How do you—" she stammered, looking up into his eyes. And then she saw it. A faint, jagged line running through his eyebrow, the injury he had taken that same night, shielding her from the falling debris. The boy from the fire, the boy she had promised to write to, who had disappeared into the foster system, leaving her with nothing but a memory. "June?" she breathed. Before we find out what happens next, pause this video right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You are witnessing a reunion 15 years in the making, and trust me, the war that is about to start for her is going to be legendary. Ready? Let's go. Ku Jun didn't care about the board members watching. He didn't care about the spilled tea. He released Kim Young's arm with a shove that sent the man stumbling back and stepped into Sarah's space. "I found you," he said, his voice thick with emotion that cracked his icy mask. "I looked in London. I looked in New York. I never thought I'd find you here, serving tea to a parasite like him." "I had to," Sarah whispered, shame coloring her cheeks. "My visa, my father's medical bills. Kim Young holds my debt. I can't leave." A shadow passed over Ku Jun's face, a look of pure, unadulterated rage directed at the man behind him. "Oh, look at this touching reunion." A sharp, mocking voice cut through the moment. The boardroom doors swung open. Shin Ha-ri walked in, looking like a runway model in supreme designer wear, followed closely by an older woman in a traditional handbook who looked like she smelled something rotten. Mrs. Kim Hee, Ku Jun's mother. "Ku Jun," Mrs. Kim snapped, eyeing Sarah with open disgust. "What are you doing? Ha-ri has been waiting for you for lunch for 20 minutes. Why are you talking to the help?" "Get away from him," Shin Ha-ri sneered, stepping between them and pushing Sarah back. "You're getting dirt on his suit." Sarah stumbled, the old instinct to shrink away taking over. She was just a maid. These were the masters of the universe. "I'm sorry," Sarah mumbled, dropping to her knees to clean the mess. "I'm so sorry." "Stop," Ku Jun commanded. He didn't look at his mother. He didn't look at Ha-ri. He reached down and pulled Sarah to her feet, his hand lingering on her waist. "Mother, Ha-ri, Leave. I have business to conclude. Business? Kim Young laughed nervously, trying to regain control. Yes, the merger, but this girl needs to be punished for her clumsiness. Security. Take her to the basement. Two burly guards stepped forward. Sarah's eyes widened in terror. She knew what happened in the basement. No, please, she begged, looking at Kim Young. I'll work double shifts. Please don't. Ku Jun moved. He was a blur of motion. He stepped in front of Sarah, his chest a solid wall of protection. If anyone touches her, he's dropped his voice to a demonic growl. They will lose the hand they use. You're threatening my staff in my own office? Kim Young scoffed, emboldened by Mrs. Gim's presence. Ku Jun, be reasonable. She's just a foreign debtor. Why do you care? Because. Ku Jun straightened his tie, the cold billionaire mask sliding back into place. Because the terms of our negotiation have changed. What? I'm not just interested in the shipping lanes anymore. I want the whole company, KY Corp, every asset, every building, every contract. He looked at Sarah. Including her contract. Silence stretched in the room, thick and suffocating. Shin Hari laughed, a high screeching sound. You're joking! You're going to buy a failing company just to get a maid? Ku Jun, have you lost your mind? My son is tired, Mrs. Gum said quickly, grabbing Ku Jun's arm. Let's go. Hari, call the driver. Ku Jun ripped his arm away. I've never been more awake. Kim Young, you have 24 hours to consider my offer. If you refuse, I will hostilely take over this company and leave you with nothing but the suit on your back. He turned to Sarah. Wait for me. Do not let them break you. I am coming back. He couldn't take her now, not legally. If he kidnapped her, Kim Young could call the police and have Sarah deported instantly. He had to do this the right way, the permanent way. Sarah nodded, tears streaming down her face. For the first time in 15 years, she wasn't alone. As Ku Jun stormed out, leaving a stunned boardroom in his wake, Kim Young's eyes narrowed into slits. So, the villain whispered, looking at Sarah like a piece of meat. Interesting. Guys, if you think Kim Young is going to play fair, you are dead wrong. Drop a comment below. What is Kim Young planning? The back of the limousine was quiet until Geum Ku, Ku Jun's younger sister, threw her tablet onto the leather seat. Are you crazy, Oppa? She asked, her eyes wide. Buying KY Corp? Their stocks are garbage. Mother is going to have a stroke. I don't care about the stocks, Jiwoo, Ku Jun said, staring out the window at the rainy Seoul skyline. It's her. Jiwoo frowned. The maid? The one who spilled the tea? She's not a maid. She's Sarah. Jiwoo's mouth fell open. Sarah? The London Fire Sarah? The one you talk about every time you get drunk? She's alive, Jiwoo, and that animal Kim Young has her trapped. Jiwoo's expression instantly changed from skepticism to determination. She hated Shin Hari, the plastic princess their mother tried to force on Ku Jun, but a childhood love story? That she could get behind. Okay, Jiwoo cracked her knuckles. If we're doing this, we're doing it right. Mother is already planning a counterattack with Hari's father. They're going to try to block the acquisition. Let them try, Ku Jun growled. I want to know Kim Young's weakness, not his business weakness, his personal one. I want to know where he buries his skeletons. Already on it, Jiwoo smirked, tapping her phone. But, Ku Jun, the annual tech gala is tomorrow night. Kim Young will be there, and he's going to bring her. I know. He's going to use her to humiliate you. He can try. Ku Jun's eyes were cold steel. But tomorrow night, I'm not walking out of there without her. The grand ballroom of the Shilla Hotel was dripping with diamonds and malice. Flashbulbs blinded Sarah as she walked in, but she wasn't wearing a gown. Kim Young had forced her to wear her maid's uniform. In a room full of tuxedos and silk dresses, she stood out like a sore thumb. It was a deliberate move to shame her, to show everyone exactly where she belonged. "Keep your head down," Kim Young hissed, gripping her elbow painfully, "and pour the drinks. If you spill anything tonight, I'll sell your father's debt to the organ traffickers." Sarah swallowed her sob, clutching the tray of champagne. Across the room, Shin Hari was clinging to Ku Jun's arm, wearing a white dress that looked suspiciously like a wedding gown. Mrs. Geum was beaming, introducing them as a future couple to the press. Sarah's heart shattered. Of course, Ku Jun was a king. She was just a servant. The moment in the boardroom was probably just pity. She turned to hide in the shadows, but a hush fell in the room. Ku Jun had stepped onto the small stage where the microphone stood. He gently but firmly peeled Shin Hari's hands off his arm. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ku Jun's voice boomed, "I have an announcement." Mrs. Geum clapped excitedly. "He's going to propose to Hari," she whispered loudly. Sarah couldn't watch. She turned to leave. "I am pleased to announce," Ku Jun continued, his eyes scanning the crowd until they landed on Sarah, freezing her in place. "As of 6 p.m. tonight, Golden Era Holdings has submitted a formal, unconditional offer to acquire KY Corporation." The crowd gasped. "However," Ku Jun continued, stepping off the stage and walking through the parted crowd like Moses parting the Red Sea, "the deal comes with a specific clause." He stopped directly in front of Kim Young and Sarah. Kim Young sneered. "I haven't agreed to sell Geum. My company is not for sale." "It's not a request," Ku Jun said, ignoring him and looking at Sarah. He reached out and gently took the champagne tray from her hands, handing it to a passing waiter. Then, in front of all of Seoul's elite, the press, and his own mother, Geum Ku Jun took off his tuxedo jacket. The room went silent as he draped the warm, expensive fabric over Sarah's shivering shoulders, covering her maid's uniform. "The clause," Ku Jun said, loud enough for the cameras to hear, "is that all personnel contracts are transferred to me immediately, specifically the contract of Miss Sarah Stephan. She's part of the deal," he declared. Shin Hari screamed, actually screamed. "Oppa, what are you doing with that trash?" Mrs. Geum looked like she was going to faint, but Kim Young didn't look defeated. A slow, ugly smile spread across his face. "Oh, Ku Jun." Kim Young chuckled, shaking his head. "You sentimental fool. You think money can solve this? You think you can just buy her?" "Name your price," Ku Jun said. 50 billion won? 100 billion? "She's not for sale," Kim Young leaned in close, "because she's not just an employee. Are you, Sarah?" Sarah trembled. "Please don't." "Tell him," Kim Young barked. I signed a marriage contract," Sarah wept, the words tasting like ash. "To pay off the debt. I'm legally betrothed to Kim Young." The world stopped. Ku Jun looked at Sarah, betrayal and confusion warring in his eyes. "What?" "The wedding is next week," Kim Young gloated, wrapping an arm around Sarah's waist. "So you see, you can buy my company, but you can't buy my wife." "You're lying," Ku Jun snarled, stepping forward, his fists clenched. "Check the registry," Kim Young laughed. "Now get out of my sight, or I'll have my fiancé arrested for public indecency." He dragged Sarah away. Sarah looked back one last time, her eyes screaming for help before she disappeared into the elevators. Ku Jun stood there, the cameras flashing, his heart ripping in two. But then Ji-woo appeared at his elbow. She wasn't crying, she was smiling, a terrifying, predatory smile. "Did you get the audio?" Ku Jun asked quietly, his face devoid of emotion. Every word. Ji-woo tapped her clutch bag, which concealed a recording device. He admitted the marriage was for debt. That's coercion. It makes the contract void. And the other thing? Ku Jun asked quietly. The private room, Ji-woo whispered. Room 404. He's taking her there now. He thinks he's won. He's going to let his guard down. Ku Jun adjusted his cuffs. The sadness was gone, replaced by the cold calculation of a man going to war. Clear the floor, Ku Jun ordered his security detail. I'm going to make a counteroffer. Inside room 404, Kim Young threw Sarah onto the sofa. You think he can save you? He spat, pouring a drink. He's a businessman. He cares about profit. Once he realizes you're damaged goods, he'll move on to that plastic doll, Harry. He's not like you, Sarah said, clutching the tuxedo jacket Ku Jun had given her. It smells like cedar and safety. We'll see. Kim Young pulled out a knife, toying with the blade. Maybe I should give you a matching scar on your face, then he really won't want you. Sarah screamed as he lunged. Crash! The heavy oak door didn't just open, it exploded inward. Ku Jun stepped over the splintered wood. He wasn't alone. Behind him were 6 of his personal security team and 2 officers from the Seoul police. Kim Young, Ku Jun's voice thundered. Kim Young grabbed Sarah, holding the knife to her throat. Get back, I'll kill her. She's my wife. She is a victim of human trafficking and financial extortion. Ji-woo stepped in, holding up a tablet. We have your offshore accounts, Kim. We know about the fake debt, the coerced marriage. It's all over. Lies. Kim pressed the knife harder. A drop of blood appeared on Sarah's neck. Ku Jun's vision went red. Let her go, Ku Jun said, walking forward unarmed. You want to hurt someone? Hurt me. Don't come closer, Kim Young's hand was shaking. I'll do it. No, you won't, Ku Jun said calmly, because you're a coward. You only hurt people who can't fight back. Ku Jun didn't stop. He walked right up to the blade. Sarah, he said softly, duck. Sarah dropped. In the split second of confusion, Ku Jun moved. He grabbed the blade with his bare hand. Blood sprayed, but Ku Jun didn't flinch. He wrenched the knife away, snapping Kim Young's wrist with a sickening crunch. Kim Young screamed, falling to the floor. Ku Jun kicked him away, then dropped to his knees, pulling Sarah into his arms. I've got you, he panted, his hand bleeding heavily on the floor. I've got you. Your hand, Sarah cried, holding his injured palm. You're hurt. It's nothing, Ku Jun smiled, wiping a tear from her cheek with his uninjured hand. I told you I'd come back for you. Police swarmed the room, handcuffing a weeping Kim Young. As they dragged the villain away, Mrs. Geum and Shin Ha-ri appeared in the doorway, breathless. Ku Jun, Mrs. Geum shrieked, seeing the blood. Look what this maid has done to you. She is bad luck. Shin Ha-ri stomped her foot. You chose her over me, over the merger? Ku Jun stood up, helping Sarah rise. He looked at his mother with a finality that silenced the room. She is not a maid. She is the woman who saved my life 15 years ago, and she is the only woman I will ever marry. He turned to Hari. And regarding the merger, I bought the company anyway, but I'm dissolving it. I'm turning the KY building into a foundation for debt relief. You can't, Mrs. Geum gasped. I can, and I did. Now get out, or I'll have security remove you too. For the first time in her life, Mrs. Geum had nothing to say. She retreated, Hari trailing behind her in defeat. 1 week later, the sun was setting over the Han River. Sarah sat on the balcony of Ku Jun's penthouse, watching the city lights flicker on. Her debt was gone. Kim Young was in prison awaiting trial. She heard footsteps behind her. Ku Jun walked out, his hand bandaged. Does it hurt? She asked, reaching out to touch the white gauze. Only when I think about how long it took me to find you, he replied, sitting beside her. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Sarah's breath hitched. Ku Jun. "I'm not asking you to marry me yet," he said softly. "I know you need time. You need to be free. You need to find out who Sarah Stephen is when she isn't afraid." He opened the box. Inside wasn't a diamond ring. It was a jade pendant broken in half, the matching piece to the one she had lost in the fire all those years ago. "I went back to the ashes. I found it. I've kept it for 15 years. Sarah took the pendant, her fingers brushing his. "But," Ku Jun continued, his eyes intense, "I'm promising you this. I will spend every day of the rest of my life making sure you never have to be afraid again." "I'm not afraid," Sarah whispered, leaning her head on his shoulder. "Not anymore." "Good," Ku Jun kissed the top of her head, "because we have a lot of work to do. Ji Woo tells me you're quite good at managing difficult people." Sarah laughed, a light, free sound. "I managed you, didn't I?" "That you did," he smiled. "That you did." They sat there as the stars came out, two broken pieces finally put back together. And somewhere in the city, a new story was beginning. A story not of debt and pain, but of a love that cost billions and was worth every penny. Wow, I'm actually crying right now. From a terrified maid to the queen of Seoul, that is what I call a glow-up. But wait, there is still one loose end. Shin Ha-ri and Mrs. Gum are not the type to give up easily. Do you think they'll come back for revenge in part 2? If this video gets 10,000 likes, I will drop the sequel where Sarah has to defend her new throne against the mother-in-law from hell. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who believes in true love. See you in the next story.